These are 5 mistakes that are keeping you stuck at 20% body fat, which once I fixed, I finally got lean. And you're not stuck because you're lazy. You're stuck because you're making these mistakes that literally make fat loss biologically harder. Mistake number 1 is not realizing you're full. So the reason I got fat in the first place was because every time I sat down to eat at dinner time, I would just stuff my face full of everything. I'd eat pasta, I'd eat pizza, I'd eat rice, potatoes, meat, everything. And I kept on eating it without actually realizing that my brain had signaled to my stomach that I was full. I was literally full, but I would keep on eating anyway. And I think a big reason why I did that in the first place was because my culture is one where eating is very heavily emphasized. So I'm half Italian, and in Italian culture, a lot of the family gatherings revolve around food. And so whenever my mum would cook food, there'd be a heap of food for all of the family. And she would always tell me, keep on eating, keep on eating, keep on eating. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, I can't let her down. So what did I do? I just stuffed my face full, kept going. And what ended up happening was that I just got so overweight. And same thing would happen whenever I would go to like my grandmother's house. As soon as I walk through the door, the first thing is, oh, what do you want to eat? What do you want to drink? And so I'd just be like, oh, I'll just like have whatever you have. She'd bring out the pasta, she'd bring out the garlic bread, and I would just be stuffing my face full all the time. And I wasn't even hungry. And so you have this pressure to just keep on eating, but you've got to realize that it's keeping you fat. If you keep on eating, even past the point of being full, that's going to keep you overweight and stuck at 20% body fat. And it's almost like we have this evolutionary mechanism rooted into us that says, oh, if we've got all this food in front of us, you should stuff your face full of it because we might not have access to food in a week's time, for example. So this is the evolutionary mechanism that has been wired into us over millions of years to try and keep us alive. It's to promote fat gain so that in the future, if we don't have access to food, if our hunts were unsuccessful and we would have to starve, then we would have the fat reserves on our body to make sure we had enough energy to literally just survive. But you've got to realize we're no longer in those prehistoric times. We're no longer in the caveman days where that was the actual circumstances that us humans found ourselves in. We have ready access sources of food for us all of the time. You don't have to worry about that. And so you've got to get it out of your brain to stuff yourself full of food every time you see it. You've got to stop eating at the point where you're no longer hungry. That's really important because what's keeping you fat is you overeat all the time. You eat despite not feeling hungry. You eat despite even feeling full and lethargic sometimes, so as to not disappoint the family that you're with. What I do is I normally eat protein first at every meal I have. So if I'm eating chicken and rice, or if I'm eating chicken and potatoes, or if I'm eating steak and potatoes or whatever, I will always focus first on the meat, on the protein. I'll eat the protein first. Even if I'm eating chicken and rice, I will eat all of the chicken first. I won't have one bite of chicken, one scoop of rice. I don't eat like that. I eat all the protein first. The reason I do that is because I am making sure I'm getting in my protein intake, number one, but also I will be fuller and then less likely to overeat on carbs and fats. That are the things that are really easy to overeat on. Because you're never overeating on chicken or steak or turkey. It's always you just can't stop eating potatoes. You can't stop eating pasta. It's always the carbs. So once you've finished eating the protein first and you've got all of that in, then you can make a decision as to how much of the carbs you want to eat. And when you adopt this approach to eating, when you eat till you're no longer hungry as opposed to full, you will see that your fat will start to come off. And by the way, if you're looking for one-on-one personal support with your fat loss journey, DM me the words skinny fat on Instagram and we can get you down looking leaner, just like all of my clients have. Mistake number 2 is thinking that it's all about diet. So most guys that want to lose fat, the first thing they think of is, oh my God, I need to cut my calories. I need to stop eating so much food. I need to clean up my diet. Sure, all of those things are true, and you should probably focus on them if you want to lose fat. But what's often overlooked is the bigger problem that you're facing when it comes to trying to get lower than 20% body fat. Because what I did when I first started trying to lose weight was I cut my calories. I started eating cleaner. I made better food choices, and I lost over 10 kilograms of weight. I went from 75 kilograms down to 63 kilograms. But despite losing that amount of weight, I was still skinny fat at 63 kilograms. The reason being because I had no muscle on my body. I wasn't training in the gym. I wasn't focusing on trying to build muscle. All that I was focused on was losing weight. And you've got to understand that losing weight on its own is not going to fix your skinny fat physique. It's not going to get you below 20% body fat, because muscle is so important, if not more important than fat loss when it comes to lowering your body fat percentage. Because muscle gives you that aesthetic appearance. You can't have an aesthetic body or a lean body when you don't have muscle on your frame. You end up just looking skinny fat. And what actually happens when you add muscle to your body is that your body fat percentage decreases, even if you have the same level of physical fat mass on your body, because the level of fat on your body will now seem relatively lower in comparison to the higher amount of muscle that you've built. And when you add muscle to your frame, it actually increases what's called your basal metabolic rate, which is how many calories your body burns at rest every day. So because muscle tissue is much more metabolically active, which means it is much more demanding of energy to sustain itself, your body burns more energy, more calories when you have more muscle on your body. And that makes it way easier to stay lean and get lean. So we know that muscle building and training in the gym is essential if you want to get below 20% body fat. But what I see all the time is that people will work out, but they'll be doing some really weird workout. They'll be doing things that I'm like, how did you even come across this workout? Like, where did you get this from? And so there are all these guys that are doing workouts at home, like burpees or some high intensity training, which sure you might get a sweat on, but that is doing nothing for muscle building. You might be working out, but you're not building muscle. It doesn't mean you're going to build muscle, even if you're working out. So you need to be doing the right workouts. You need to be on a structured training plan in the gym, doing the correct exercises on a correct split. And so if you're doing random workouts all the time, you're going to have a random body. If you're looking for structured workout plans, you can check out my program that is the Skinny Fat Solution. Should be linked in the description below. It's literally free. I'm in the gym showing you the exercises you should be doing. And I have all the 3, 4, 5, 6 day training splits that you can use to actually build muscle. Mistake number 3 is winging meals. So when I say winging a meal, what I mean is not having prepared for that mealtime. So we've all heard of that saying, oh yeah, I'm just gonna wing this exam. It means you haven't studied for the exam. If you're winging your meals, what it means is you're going into lunchtime, you're going into dinner time with no plan. So what I always used to do back in the day, even when I was trying to lose fat, was it would get to lunchtime. I would have in my mind, okay, I wanna lose fat, I wanna lose fat, I wanna lose fat. And it'd get to lunchtime, but I'd have nothing to eat. I'd look in the pantry, I'd be like, oh, what can I eat here that's really good for losing fat? I'd look in the fridge. I'd have nothing prepared in advance to actually eat. So what I ended up doing was going to Subway literally every day. And I'll eat a foot-long Subway with all the cheese, all the sauces, all of that garbage bread even. And it would blow out my calories for the day, not to mention all the crappy ingredients that go into Subway as well. And the reason why I automatically resorted to eating Subway every day was because I had nothing ready to go for lunchtime or dinner time. So what ends up happening to a lot of guys is that they have nothing in the fridge prepared for lunchtime or dinner time. And what ends up happening is it gets to lunchtime, they get hungry, and because they've got nothing ready to go, they get on Uber Eats, they get takeout. And those foods are not going to get you lean. They're not getting you below 20% body fat. I'm sorry to say it. But compare that situation where you have something in the fridge, in a Tupperware container, like my favorite meal prep is chicken and potatoes. And so I've got that in the fridge all the time, ready to go, ready to be heated up in the microwave every single day. So I will never, ever get in the situation where I'm on Uber Eats, trying to order some food or trying to get takeout because I have nothing in my fridge ready to go. I've always got meal prep. So I'm always staying on plan. And realistically, it's just your lack of preparation that is keeping on testing your willpower. Because you don't need to rely on willpower to eat clean and correctly when you've got the meal prep ready to go in the fridge. Having meal prep removes the decision-making process and it makes getting lean effortless. So just please take out an hour of your week. It doesn't take that long, and you can bulk prep meals to go for lunchtime for the rest of the week. It doesn't take that long, can be really simple. The fourth mistake is having a sedentary lifestyle. So I am an office worker and I see this all the time. People will rock up at 8 a.m., sit down at their desk and not leave the office until 8 p.m. at night. So they spent their whole day in the office and then they go home, have dinner, go to bed, do it all over again the next day. So they have not moved from their desk pretty much the entire day. And it's the sad reality, unfortunately. And I've been there myself. I've rocked up at 8 a.m. in the morning and then only left the office at 10 p.m. at night. And I'm not saying this to flex, oh, I work so hard, whatever. I'm telling you this because I've sat in the office at 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. not having moved, not having gone outside the entire day. And the reality is, for a lot of people, that is their normal working conditions. So they are not moving realistically their entire lives. And it's similar for people who are studying for exams. You just lock yourself in at your desk, you study non-stop throughout the entire day, you don't even move, you don't even go outside. And this is how most people live. So you need to just spare an hour of your day. Just go outside, go for a walk, get some sunlight. You get all the biological benefits from going outside as well. Not to mention you're going to burn an easy 300 to 500 extra calories just by going on an hour walk. And if you can even make it to the gym or have a treadmill at home, just get on the incline treadmill and you can burn 500 calories in 45 minutes to an hour. Even better, you can go on a light jog and that will burn 600, 700 calories if you're running for 45 minutes to an hour. So a lot of guys are stuck at 20% body fat because their calorie burn is just so low because they're living these sedentary lifestyles. And cutting on a low calorie burn is so hard because you actually have to eat way less food to maintain a calorie deficit when your calories burned is also low. So if you can increase your calorie burn, cutting fat becomes way easier. And realistically, the difference between having 10,000 steps and 2,000 steps every day is 300 to 500 calories. And burning an extra 300 to 500 calories every day is the difference between you being in a calorie deficit versus a calorie surplus. So let's say you're eating 2,500 calories every day. If you're only burning 2,200 calories, you're in a calorie surplus. You're going to gain weight. Whereas if you just walked an extra 10,000 steps, burnt an extra 500 calories, you've now burned 2,800 calories. And if you're eating 2,500, you're in a calorie deficit now and losing weight. So it's really the smallest of things that can make the biggest difference when it comes to you getting below 20% body fat. Mistake number 5 is poor sleeping habits. So this is very common in people that are busy with work or study. You're just working so hard, you're studying so hard, so what ends up happening is you sacrifice your sleep. And I see this all the time. It literally ruins people. It keeps them at 20% body fat. Because what happens is when you're sleeping such a little amount and really low quality sleep, what happens is your hunger hormones increase and your fullness hormones decrease. So you binge eat more food. You're way more prone to eating junk food and blowing out your calorie budget for the day. And if you sleep 5 hours every night, your hunger hormones look like someone who's already been dieting for a month. When you sleep less, you have lower energy as well. So you're burning less calories the next day. Your testosterone drops as well. So your body is literally just in a fat storing versus burning environment. And the worst part is, you can even be doing everything right. You can still be in a calorie deficit, but whilst you will lose weight, the weight that you lose will come more from muscle as opposed to fat because your sleep is so poor. So some practical tips to fix your sleep so that you can actually break the 20% body fat barrier. If you feel like you don't have enough time to sleep because you're just so busy with work or studies, the reason you get to that point where you're working late at night is because you were inefficient during the day. You might be context switching all the time. You might be getting random messages, and that distracts you from the actual task you wanted to do. It's been shown that if your attention diverts elsewhere, just for even a minute's time, and that might be you responding to a message while you're doing your work, it takes 20 minutes for your brain to refocus on the task you were doing. So you've just wasted 20 minutes by replying to a message for 1 minute. And you do that, say 5 times a day, you've wasted almost 2 hours of work that you could have otherwise been actually doing. So you get to the end of the workday and you're only working late because you've just been distracted all day. So if you can just go on Do Not Disturb, block out all the distractions, just focus on the task that you want to do, you will get your work done in half the time it normally takes you. And when you do that, you can go to bed at a normal time and fix your sleep to actually lose fat. Another thing you can do is have a caffeine cutoff. So I will only drink coffee before 12 p.m. in the day. The reason is because caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours. So if you go to bed at 10 p.m. and you have a coffee at 4 p.m., half of that caffeine that you had at 4 p.m. is still in your system when you're trying to go to sleep. And that is ruining your sleep quality and ruining your ability to actually fall asleep. So you've got to cut off caffeine at least 10 hours before you're going to bed. Also, do not train late at night. When you're in the gym or doing cardio at nighttime, before you go to bed, you are raising your body internal temperature, you're raising your heart rate, and you're increasing your cortisol. So when you get to bedtime and your heart rate is spiked and your body temperature is higher and your cortisol is higher, that is making it so much more difficult for you to fall asleep and have a restful night of sleep. Make sure you're eating at least 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed as well, because digestion takes an hour and a half, if not more. So if you're eating dinner at 9 p.m., then you're realistically only going to feel able to fall asleep at 10:30, if not even later than that, because you're digesting. And if you are an office worker and you do have to work late, literally bring meal prep to the office and have dinner at like 5 p.m. So the moment you get home from work, you can go straight to sleep. You don't have to worry about cooking or eating, because that's delaying your bedtime even more. And the last thing is, if you want to supplement, try magnesium glycinate. This relaxes your body and makes it way easier to fall asleep faster. And it's literally just this stuff here. Order it online. So if you are looking for one-on-one personal help with your fat loss journey, then DM me the word skinny fat on Instagram. Happy to have a chat with you, and we can make sure that your transformation is like my clients who have lost heaps of fat and actually seen their abs for the first time. You can also check out my Skinny Fat Solution program that is literally free, that goes through all the information you need to know with fat loss and training. So check that out. I want to see you in there as well. So if you learned anything from this video, please consider subscribing. We're getting to 20K subs soon. And if you want to keep on learning, check out this video here. Other than that, see you in the next one.